Hi folks, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I thought today I'd just briefly talk about a camera that doesn't seem to have had too much about it on the internet or on YouTube, which I bought some time ago when and I've showed you this one before, the MZS, but I'm not going to be, I've already done a review on the MZS, which is a professional 35mm film camera, which is a wonderful camera. But in the MZ series, they had other MZ cameras as well, and I bought this one, the MZ6, as a backup to use as a second camera for my second shooter or assistant to use while I was filming the main shoot of a wedding with the MZS. So it's a beautiful little camera. It's made of plastic, but it feels nice and chunky and solid. And one of the things that I did on my MZS, I've got an extra battery thing on the bottom here, which takes some AA batteries, which gives you a lot more extended use of this camera. And that, all in all, it makes a beautiful little camera. I mean, you could shoot it one-handed probably. It's not all that heavy, and it's a bit smaller compared to the, let's have a look. The MZS is a little bit bigger and a bit heavier, but nonetheless, it's a beautiful little camera, and it's got everything you want on it. I'll show you some of these symbols on here that show you the different ranges of things that you can do. You've got your green button, which is auto. When you turn the camera on, and you have it on, let's have a look. We have it set on that. We'll see what happens if we just turn this on. Might prove me wrong. See, it goes round and it picks out what sort of a setting it's going to, and it makes an adjustment depending on what the setting is. But you've also got all these other settings. You've got scene settings for different action and depth of field, and what else is there? Close-ups, nighttime photography. You've got manual, aperture, and shutter priority, and it's quite a simple camera to use. This has got one of the older style lenses on it, autofocus lenses, which is an A series autofocus lens, and this is a 35-70, and I use this quite extensively on my weddings on the MZS as well as on this camera, and it's a nice little camera. It's also got a lens has got a macro setting on it, but basically the way that you change things on here is this lever here is how you actually change shutter speeds, I think. Let's have a look and see. We'll just put it on manual. So so you can see that as I move this lever here, it should be changing the shutter speed. Maybe I've got it upside down, have I? Maybe you can read it better this way. I can't tell looking at it upside down. But it changes the shutter speeds accordingly. And inside your viewfinder, of course, it's adjusting the aperture depending. It's automatically adjusting the aperture on that one. So, but you can change everything. Takes the ordinary. It reads the ISO when you put it in. Other words, you don't have to set that manual. It's a fully automatic camera. Got a nice hot shoe, which will take a dedicated flash on there. No PC socket. You've got different settings here for whether you want to do bracketing or continuous shooting and all that sort of stuff. So it's got a full range of, and it's got a remote control that can operate it. I've got a remote control that will work this and also work my Pentax MZS and also my digital cameras as well. I think it works the same way. Maybe that's... I'm actually not sure what that little hole is there for, whether that's for a remote control, a separate remote control, or for the flash sync. But anyway, I'm going to read some specifications off, but this camera will take just as good of photos as the other one, using the same sort of lenses. It's not a fully professional spec camera, but it's still a wonderful little camera, and I would highly recommend it if you can get one, but particularly if you can get one of these battery holders. I've read a few reviews about it. Some people love it, and some people think, oh, there's this and that. You always get people that downgrade some of these things. But it's a beautiful little camera. I'm going to read some of the specs off of the screen I've got in here that someone's put up. So this camera was, I'll just hold it up here while I'm reading so you can look at something other than my face. This camera was introduced in 2001. The ISO range is 6,400. The exposure, it has exposure memory lock. It's got a self timer. It's got a built-in 2 frames per second winder. The flash sync speed is 125th of a second. No power zoom, no exchangeable screen. The battery, it takes 2 CR2 batteries, and it's a KAF mount. The DX ISO range, in other words, if you if you want to just do the automatic reading of a film, 25 to 5,000, it is against 6 to 6,400 on the manual ISO range, I think. Shutter speeds 30 seconds to 1/4000th of a second. No mirror lockup, built-in flash, guide number 11. No flash exposure compensation. Viewfinder is 92% view. Depth of field preview, yes. Battery grip, yes. That's the grip FG you can get. And that takes 4 AA batteries. The meter range is 0 to 21 EV. I've talked about the exposure modes and the shutter speeds. Auto bracketing, yes. Through the lens flash, yes. Autofocus, yes. 3 points. Viewfinder type, penta mirror type. Image size 24 to 36, so it takes 35mm film. The dimensions of the camera 135.5 by 92 by 63 millimeters. Exposure compensation plus or minus 3 EVF. Meter pattern is spot metering and manual metering, and the shutter speeds mechanical. There's no mechanical shutter speeds, it's all on electronic shutter speeds. You can take multiple exposures. I don't think I've ever done that with this. Through the lens flash metering. Diopter correction. The weight is 400 grams, and that's the main specifications for it. But I'd highly recommend this. You'll see some people love this camera, and as a really good both point and shoot, and a camera that you can actually use, a film camera, you can actually use professionally as well. I'd recommend that you have a look around and see if you can get them. They're probably not all that prevalent for sale, but and you can put your digital lenses on here as well if you wish, and even if you've got an adapter, you can put all your M42 with the same with all Pentax cameras. They're backwards compatible. So there you go. That's the Pentax MZ6, and it's the poor man's version of the MZs, I would say, but there's other variations in the MZ series, but this is a particular one that I like. It's got the little pop-up flash there, of course, which is great for fill flash and whenever you haven't got a flash with you. And I would highly recommend it if you want to get hold of a nice little film camera. It's very solid. Some people say when you haven't got this battery grip on it that the battery compartment looks a bit flimsy for the normal batteries that you'd put in it. But once you got on this, you never need to take it off anyway. You just keep changing the AA batteries. So there you go. That's the MZ6. I don't know that I can actually show you any shots that I've taken with it at this stage, but trust me, it'll give you just as good an image as the MZs without all the refinements of being able to adjust the camera. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Like if you like, and subscribe if you wish. I'll catch you later. See ya.